Hello everyone, welcome to another episode of CSPN, your Cheese League Baseball news updates. This is stats and standings for games 11 through 20, so that means we've played 2 more games across the league. This is just a heads up, this is a redo. I recorded this video, didn't like it, so now I'm redoing it. Better videos, stats and standings videos will be coming. So that is right up front, just a heads up. Let's take a look here at the standings real quick. So, interesting. So, Grazers and Rampage are ahead of the Cheddar division, 3-1 each. So, pretty interesting. You know, run differential there on the Grazers, plus 15. That's pretty darn interesting. They've had some really good games to start off the season. You know, lots of heavy hitters in that lineup. Same thing with the Rampage. Some heavy hitters there, too. Steamrollers and Colonels and Strongmen all down there, kind of at the bottom of the division. And we're going to see how things pan out for them. They're all 1-3, so, you know, anything can happen in Cheese League Baseball. A little more even, though, in the Pepperjack division, I would say. The Olympians, obviously, the big standout, 3-1. And 3-1, and that's our mascot, Cooper. If you hear me fidgeting, he is being a little monster right now. Olympians, 3-1 in the Pepperjack division. They sit up top. And Marauders, Fowls, Warblers, and Whalers are all 2-2. So, yeah, we're going to see how things pan out for them as we go throughout the season, too. But just a little more even, balanced in the Pepperjack division, which is pretty interesting. But the Olympians, Grazers, and Rampage right now look like the teams to beat. So we'll check out how that goes throughout the season. Again, this is only 4 games in, but yeah, we'll see how things go. And let's take a look now at batting stats. So in terms of batting average, should be no surprise here. We have some Grazers right up top, actually across all these stats. So Amos Yellow sits atop the batting stats, hitting 615. Tugger Gentry there from the Marauders, hitting 600. Hilldown and Ali from the Strongmen there, and Alto Davis there too. So some surprising numbers there after game 20 here. You know, 4 games in. So you can obviously tell with 4 games in too who the heavy hitters are for some of these teams, and who's carrying some of these teams, like Nico McLongthrope and Lester, and again Tony Austin. So in terms of batting average, when we look at home runs, a bunch of people have 2 home runs. You got Austin, you got Beck and Gentry there on the Marauders side. You have Milana Gomez. Milana Gomez might be somebody to watch throughout the season. She came in, and I don't even know if she's the everyday starting catcher for the Strongmen, but she really just came in and just slammed a couple of dingers. And Micah Gilmore is power hitting second baseman for the Rampage. Parsons and Webb there too, some home runs. And look at the Warblers down at the bottom there too, represented. So runs batted in, we got Tony Austin, should be no surprise there. McForsham from the Feud and Fowls, and Shaw tied. Shaw kind of hits in the bottom part of the order too, so it's interesting that he has that many runs batted in. It really tells you how many, all the people that are on base in front of him. So interesting stuff. Lynn is there as well from the Warblers, and then we got a bunch of other Grazers there. So that's pretty darn interesting. Let's look at the second set of stats here for batting. We got on base percentage. No surprise, Yellow atop there, and some of the same names that we're going to see, Davis and Ali and Hilldown and stuff. But Annika Proctor, number 3 there, tied with Gentry, and actually tied for, I guess, first, really. So Annika Proctor, big surprise there from the Steamrollers, even though they've started the season off kind of rough. So that's pretty darn interesting. In terms of slugging percentage, Tugger Gentry, high up there in slugging percentage, and Aldo Davis and Austin up there as well. I see Rip Lynn, and again, Milana Gomez, kind of surprising. Milana Gomez, kind of coming out of nowhere, I think. Now I'm looking at this, the Strongmen are actually quite represented with Hilldown and Ali down there at the bottom of the order, or at the bottom of the list there. And again, OBS, you know, we see Gentry and Davis and Hill down. So a lot of the same names. A lot of Grazers up there too, of course, because they are they're doing quite well so far. So in terms of third level of batting stats, we got hits, we got Gentry and Esperanza and Yellow and Austin. So a lot of folks that are a lot of Marauders actually represented here as well. So they're hitting quite well. Might be a hit machine kind of team. Something to watch if you're a Marauders fan throughout the year. Definitely watch, see people top of the hits list. Same thing if you're a Grazers fan. I mean, the Grazers have such a hot start. Surprised that not as many Rampager on this list too, and they've had a good start to their season. So something to keep an eye on. Lila Quinto with extra base hits up there for the Marauders, and Ripplin as well, and McForsham. So, and there's, I think that might be our first Whalers on the list there, Josu Rounds. The Whalers have kind of had some tough games so far, so so that's pretty interesting that Josu Rounds is there. So that's pretty darn cool. Let's see who else we got. In terms of strikeouts, McForsham and Park and Gilmore, so that's not a category you want to be in, and there's some Whalers down the bottom there. Last level here, runs scored, Yellow and Lester and Berg at the top. A pair of, within the what's that, the top 4 or 5 there, a pair of fouls, pair of Grazers. A lot of Grazers actually up there. Actually, the Marauders are represented up there quite well. Stolen bases, we've seen already that the Steamrollers are a team that likes to run. You got Proctor and Dozen Rolls, so definitely something to watch out for. The Steamrollers are definitely a team that likes to run, so that's pretty darn interesting. You know, the Fowls like to run too sometimes. So, and yeah, we can see the caught stealing as well. Everybody's got one caught stealing so far. It's very early in the season. All right, so now we're going to check out pitching. And in terms of pitching, some interesting things here. Dainty Simon, so far, 4 games in, he has 2 wins already. Interesting thing about Simon is that he's coming out of the bullpen for the Rampage. So Mike Griffin's up there, and same thing with Drew Clements. And you know, everybody has. These are all people with 1 win, so I'm not going to really talk too much about them. Same thing with ERA. A lot of people. You see a lot of names in this list are people out of the bullpen with no earned run average, so not really going to talk about them too much. And same thing with saves. Saves is kind of different. Mira Williams up there with 1 save. She's an A-rated closer. I think Marcos Graham is too, and he has 3 saves so far for the Rampage. So 3 saves, 4 games. So Rampage might be a team to watch as we go throughout this season. It's pretty darn interesting how their how things are kind of working out here. Let's take a look at the second level of pitching stats. We got Blaze with whip and Flavio Yoft. I believe that's how we're going to pronounce that. And Finley Oldham. So a couple of Olympians up there. You know what? Not a lot of Olympians on this list. Now I'm looking across everything, and they are a pretty darn good team so far this year. So you see Clara Sandoval and Clarissa Newman on this list. So, and over on the batting average side, Lennox Benitez, and so you know they're maybe, and Sandoval again. So maybe the Whalers pitching staff will be the kind of their saving grace this year. We'll have to see as we go to the third level of stats here for pitching. We take a look, strikeouts per 9, walks per 9, and strikeout to walk ratio. Frazier's up there. He's out of the bullpen again for the Rampage. I believe, I don't know. I think Dixon is a starter for the Grazers. I can't quite recall, but actually, yeah, I think there's a bunch of starters there. Bud Benetti there for the Steamrollers. So pretty darn interesting. And yeah, we're going to move right on to the team stats and kind of talk through some of this, and we'll dive into some of this a little bit. So For the Olympians, after 4 games, you know, we are seeing lots of production from Bernal and Booper and Joy Trickster. And again from Neil Shaw, who's, you know, leading the league, or among the league leaders in RBIs there. And Werner Fowles actually been hitting quite well. So that middle of the lineup, or like Hull and Mullins, has not been too good, and even Panada and some people from the bottom part of the lineup like Bowles and stuff. So some people definitely need to step it up for them. Their wins have really come from good pitching from Oldham and Fuentes. McClary came in to, well, McClary got a loss the one day. Let's see, Bobbert got the no decision, but Mercado got the win for them. So you see some inflated ERAs there from Bobbert and McClary, especially from McClary. But we'll have to check on them and some of those starters as we go throughout the season here with the Olympians, especially because they're a top tier team right now, ahead of the Pepperjack division, so we'll have to check that out. All right, let's move on to the Rampage, another top-tier team. They're tied for first place. Well, I guess, yeah, they're tied for first, but I guess technically they would be really kind of second with the run differential, I guess. We're going to see how that works out throughout the year. But Rampage, in terms of hitting, again, Webb and Pruitt been very solid, and Kyan Baker and Chang, and Sparks and Parsons, so pretty darn good. Mike Gilmore has been hitting some home runs, but not very big on the average side, so got to get him to have some more hits. That'd be very good. See, again, Dainty Simon out of the bullpen down below has the most wins there. Even though their starters, you know, Vicente Sims had a good start. Obviously, Buchanan had a good start, got the win. And let's see, Kramer and Czech both got no decisions, even though they had starts. So, so we'll have to keep tabs on them. You know, it looks like Czech got a little roughed up, but something to keep an eye on if you're a Rampage fan. Feel free, when we scroll through these teams, to, you know, pause it, check out your favorite players' stats as we go through. Steamrollers now. Steamrollers are having a little bit of a rough go of it so far. Annika Proctor and, let's see, Kurt Johnston and Shepard Pace are some of the bright spots. So Alex Clark as well, third baseman. So some things to keep an eye out. But, you know, their pitching, like I said earlier when we were talking about pitching stats, their pitching has been pretty good, and the same thing for the Whalers too. I think maybe the pitching for the Steamrollers might be their saving grace. You know, you look, Schroeder and Hale had good outings, but only Hale got the win. And Benetti pitched quite well, had 4 strikeouts so far. So, and let's see, Poke Mena as well pitched, but both those guys got the loss. You know, for now, this early in the season, those lower ERAs are actually kind of commendable. So, especially when you're facing some tough teams right off the bat and getting your footing. So, 4 games in, we'll see how it works out. Clementine Silva, whew, that's an elevated ERA. You don't want to see that out of your bullpen, and especially out of somebody who's going to be in your closer role. Moving on to the strongmen. Let's see, Ali and Hilldown and Corker and Gomez. Malak Gomez kind of coming out of nowhere with those home runs. Honestly, I didn't think that she was that high of a rated home run hitting catcher, but somebody to keep an eye out for. I don't know. It's something about. I think the first couple of at bats that she had, she just hit a home run. So somebody to watch out for. Now, strongmen have had a rough go of it in terms of their rotation. If you're a strongman fan, the Mustache crew, you know, O'Donnell and Woolmate, and I mean, O'Donnell and Woolmate they got roughed up quite a bit. You know, Robertson there, not too bad with that ERA, and same thing with Gallegos. I mean, that's a pretty darn good ERA coming out of the bullpen. Billy Gilbert there, I mean, that's a high ERA, even though he got the win, and Gerardo Wise has a high ERA as well. So let's hopefully their bats pick up a little bit off of big hits from people like Gomez or Corker or Hilldown and Ali, and then maybe their pitching will kind of settle down throughout the year and kind of turn things around. Onto the Warblers now. Rose and Charles have been doing a lot of the hitting, as well as Barneswell, and we see as well Yang and Nico McLongthrope and Ripplin too. So some positives here for the Warblers, even though they're 2-2 in that that very competitive, oh my gosh, Pepperjack division. I can't believe I just blanked. Pepperjack division kind of just seems to be a little more even. So those folks keep hitting, and we'll see how things pan out for them. You know, like to get more production out of people like Kenneth Watson, your shortstop, and definitely Marlon Johns, who's your first baseman, DH, and stuff too. So people you want to see get more production. But Griffin had a good start. Hammond got hit around a little bit. And let's see, you know, Duke had a good start as well, and Smalls, I mean, no ERA there. So Clements, a bright spot out of the bullpen. I mean, even Nelson Crawford, even though he has one loss in the loss column there, 6.75 ERA this early in the season when we see other people with 15.43 like Alex Middleman. So that's a little interesting. And Harrington there with the save too, so that's something good to see for the Warblers. So let's see how they pan out. Like I said, that Pepperjack division is a lot more even than the Cheddar division. The Cheddar division is kind of like a two-team match right now, but it's 4 games into the season. Let's take a look now at the Whalers. I'm just looking now. Owen English and Kate Durham still looking for their first hit after 4 games. That's kind of rough. Nobody really hitting high other than Jasu Rounds, but he's only played a couple of games, and Jose Sicily, but no real standouts here. Maybe Lane hitting highest. So Whalers need to step up their game if they want to be competitive, especially in that division where everything is kind of a little more even. Downhill and Hazard got roughed around. We could see Newman was a good bright spot, and same thing with Sandoval. Some bright spots for them. Benitez out of the bullpen. We already saw Benitez get the shout out there earlier in some of the pitching stats. So these are some things you want to keep an eye on if you're a Whalers fan. Again, it's a competitive division. We'll see how that pans out. And let's take a look now at the Feud and Fouls. And let's see, big bright spots for them so far. Moran and Taylor Schmidt hitting well. And McForsham, we saw McForsham and Lester up there, a couple of shout-outs in the stats from earlier in terms of league leaders. So definitely want to see more production from those folks. Just look at RBIs. McForsham leading 7 RBIs. That is just bananas. It's great for the Feud and Fouls. You know, they're 2-2 so far. Hopefully when you look at their pitching, hopefully their pitching settles down. A lot of people have some elevated ERAs in their pitching staff. Brant, even people have gotten the wins like Rice, and Lawson is pretty good there. Sardee and McHumphrey, just like lots of elevated ERAs. Mira Williams is an A-rated closer though, so get to Williams, and the game should be locked down. So let's watch the Fouls and see how they do throughout the season. On to the Grazers, again, one of the better teams here in the league so far, and lots of high averages here. We're seeing lots of 300s and 400s and 500s and 600s. So this team has just been pretty dominant so far. You see Amos Yellow there with 6 RBIs and Berg with 4 RBIs. I mean, just they've hit Tony Austin leading, I believe, leading the league, right, in RBIs with that 8. So yeah, they've hit well, and I suspect they're going to continue to hit well. and be a dominant force atop of that Cheddar division. You know, the Rampage are right there too, but the way they've hit so far, and I don't know, the way they've been hitting so far is been quite promising if you're a Grazers fan. Now you look at their staff though, their rotation. We have Osborne with the high ERA, even though the win. Robertson had a good game. Raymond, very high ERA. So that's something to keep an eye on as your third starter. Dixon, lower ERA, and then you look out of the bullpen. Houndstooth and Dorsey, and even Wheeler. So people there with good. Actually, Dorsey has a higher ERA too, so we want to keep an eye on that. But I think the Grazers are going to be a team to beat, honestly. So if you're a Grazers fan, cross your fingers and your toes. It's only 4 games in. We'll have to see. Next up, we have the Colonels, and Colonels have struggled a little bit. They're 1-3 so far in that kind of lopsided Cheddar division, but I'm just looking at some of the bright spots. Aldo Davis and Marcus Gangnam for sure. Some of the bright spots in their lineup, so people to watch out for. Corbin Fry is actually hitting well, no homers, no RBIs, but 5 hits, so that's good. So those are some bright spots for the Colonels. We look at their rotations, actually not too bad, right? Well, maybe 9-7 in terms of ERAs with Sacred and Burdock, but once you get to their bullpen, that's where the ERAs start to get a little inflated, and especially with their closer. Looks like maybe that was a blown save or something, but so that's something to look out and watch out for if you're a Colonels fan. Gresham and Dawson pitched well for them out of their bullpen, and same thing. You know, Jaime Woods, and well, Logan are pretty good starters for them. So let's keep an eye on how they pan out. And then the Marauders, they are also 2-2 in that Pepperjack division, so they're one of the many. And Marauders like to see a little more production from people like Buck, even though he has 2 homers. Would like to see a little more production out of Fuller, their center fielder, and certainly out of Julian Park, who already has 5 strikeouts. So so these are people that they need some production out of. But otherwise, McLongthrope and let's see, Gentry and Liu and Plow. So they've got a pretty decent lineup here. And in terms of the rotation, kind of even numbers. It's kind of a lopsided rotation a little bit. You know, your starters look pretty decent, then get back into the bullpen. 27-13, and so yeah, want to make sure that your starters get some long innings here and long games for you. You know, Grayson Watts, it looks like, and Von Crum have been used so far and have gotten hit around. So I believe, folks, that is it. That is how, go back to standings, that is how everything pans out so far here after game number 20 for Cheese League Baseball. Again, teams to keep an eye on, Grazers and Rampage, and definitely the Olympians. So let's see how they go. Like I said, you know, earlier, the Whalers pitching staff seems something like they might not have had much run production or offense, but their pitching staff might be something to keep an eye on. Definitely had some standouts in their pitching staff. The Rollers too, the Steamrollers pitching staff is for sure something to keep an eye on. I think some of their pitchers I know are A-rated starters, and I think they're gonna turn it around. 1-3 so far, 1-3 start, but and hopefully some of the divisions kind of get a little more, well, Cheddar division at least gets a little more competitive, and we don't have the Grazers and Rampage just running away with it. But we'll see how that stuff pans out as we go along here in Cheese League Baseball. So thank you so much for watching this stats video. Hope you guys enjoyed it, and game number 21 coming your way. We'll see you next time. Thank you so much. Be sure to like this video. Be sure to subscribe to us here on YouTube And follow us on Twitter, too, at geek_cheese. Thanks so much. Take care, everyone. Bye.